our speaker today is also a practitioner here, and she leads workshops and all kinds of other work that she does on her own. She's a lawyer and a mother and this magnificent spiritual being. Please welcome Dianne Stewart Hamlin. Please wave a kiss. Thank you.
Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Love Day. Happy Friendship Day. Happy Celebration of You Day. Happy Sunday. So I'm not a hallmarky vacay holiday kind of person, and I just want to say that if you are single, you are perfectly loved and no less loved than anyone who's in a relationship. I just want you to know that. Receive it, hold it in your heart, and know that that is your truth. So, I'm staying on script, Reverend Alex. So this is a big topic, right? Love is like the biggest topic in the world. There is nothing greater than love. There's nothing more important than love. There is nothing that is can supersede love in any way. Love is the source of everything that is. It is what has created us and why we are here, right? And so I've had great opportunity to really contemplate over last week, love, and then yesterday I sort of did not contemplate anything, and I just hung out. And this morning I got up, and it just all sort of downloaded. And really it was all that I had been thinking of all week, about the power and presence of love and what that really is. So, of course, like I love to do, I went to definitions of love. And so, the dictionary says, love is a feeling. Okay. What does that mean, right? Love is a feeling. It's a feeling, but what does it do? Is it just, I feel love and woohoo? Well, it cannot be that it's just that, because love is the source of all that is. It is how I'm here in the image and likeness of that which created me. It's how we're all here and how we all decided to converge today and talk about and be here and talk about unification and love. So I went to one of the traditional scriptures, and I went into the Bible and went to 1 Corinthians, because people use this definition all the time. So I thought I would read it, and then we could talk about it a little bit. So it's 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 8. It's in the Holy Bible, a sacred text. Love is patient. If you've been to any wedding, you've heard this. Any wedding, anywhere. This is the thing they all read. So listen up, and I want you to close your eyes and settle down and listen to these words. And really hear these words as if you have never heard them before. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Wow. So I read, I looked that up earlier this week, and then I read it again and really thought about, what does that mean? A lot of people interpret that to mean, that means we're married and I own you and you own me. And we're together and we just sort of have to accept each other as things are. And we hang in there no matter what. And they have all kinds of interpretations. But as I was reading those words and really looking at it on two levels, two perspectives. The first one being, how does this unify the world, right? And our theme for this year is a world that works for everyone. So how does this scripture that says that love is patient and it's kind, how does that unify the world? How does that create a world that works for everyone? So if it is patient and it is kind, it means that we're all experiencing patience with each other and kindness with each other. And we're all experiencing a certain level and sharing a certain level of tolerance. Now, in our world today, with all of the stuff that's all over the news and on the continued negative news and on the internet, and it's all over the place about what's wrong with the world, about what's broken, about the fact that children are dying at the hands of the police, or politics, this is what's going on, we're going to build a wall around America and keep them out, or expel them, and all of these things that are really fear-based and not based in love at all, right? There's so many levels that love has to apply. And as spiritual beings who are in spiritual practice, love, we are called, we are charged to bring love to every situation. So we're sitting and we're watching the news and we're seeing the guy that killed his daughter's mother and the daughter because of a child support order. We're seeing like all of this crazy vibration of fear and anger, and how do we bring love to that? How do we create a world that works for everyone? Where do we find within ourselves to be compassionate? Where do we find within ourselves to be understanding and to be patient and to understand that although we do not condone behavior, and this is a really big one, we still have to bless it with love. Because people are growing at the rate that they're growing. And this is something that really hit me, and I've really been struck by over the last several weeks, is we tend to want to lean towards being angry at the output of someone. I noticed yesterday on the internet a lot of anger towards Justice Scalia, who just died. And people saying, good, and making like really negative energy and vibrational around him and not wanting him to rest in peace and all these other things. And I thought, well, how is that love? And how are we righting his perceived wrong? How are we righting that by sending an energy towards it that is not loving, that is not kind, that is not patient, that does not understand that this is a journey that we're all on together. And as we send out hatred and anger to him, we are getting hatred and anger back to ourselves. How do we then shift our focus to be about a love that creates a world that works for everyone? And so it brings me back to who, right? To me. It's up to each one of us as individuals to take our role and our part in the world and send that love and that vibration out to others. So there's compassion and understanding that, yes, there are ugly things that are happening. However, we're all growing through it. We are all growing through it. So our role as individuals is to participate in sending love to that situation and not anger, because you're not going to meet it with anger and then dissolve it. You're just creating more anger. You can't get peace by fighting a war. If I bring my bomb and you bring your bomb, there is no peace. We're just throwing bombs. If I come out to the playground, little kids, and I punch you and you punch me back, that's not a peaceful resolution. We're not bringing peace and love to it. So I really sort of started focusing on how do we use this love that we all know about to honor others, to allow compassion for the vibration that you may have shared, the harm that you may have caused, that I can still compassionately wish you peace, wish you harmony, wish you love, wish you the best, and wish for you the ability to join the world in what is for the highest good for all. So that's on a global level, my job as an individual is to bring love to and not see, and it's hard, right? Because here's the thing. We've all been conditioned to have judgment. And we've all been conditioned to see certain things in our lives as not good or not right or against the law of nature or whatever it is that we've all been conditioned to see. And so when the thought, if we want to be conscious beings, when the thought pops up in our minds, it is up to us, because we do know better in here. It is up to us to neutralize the thought and bless ourselves and say, whew, that's not cool. I'm going to let that go. and I'm going to bless this circumstance, and I'm not going to judge it from a place. And then I'm not going to judge myself, right? Because when we get on our spiritual path, now not only are we judging everybody else, we're judging ourselves about how spiritual we are being, and how, if we're being spiritually correct. So sometimes you're just not spiritually correct. You're caught in the condition of the world that you were raised in, and it pops into your head, and then you get to bless it with your heart, and you get to release it and say, oh, but I know better today, and I know better today, and I love this person despite, and I have no hatred for this person despite. I may not be able to get right to love, but I can start it. I don't hate you because of your choices. I can bless you and allow you to live your life because of your choices. And then I can expand into the patience part of love. The part of love that says that it doesn't dishonor others. I will allow you to be who you are, right where you are, and not hold you accountable to be something that I think you are or are not. That's in the global perspective, right? So now we've got to take this thing home to how am I doing this love thing with myself? So I'm going to read another quote. Ernest Holmes says, through the prism of God's love, I recognize the oneness of God and man. Through the prism of God's love, I recognize the oneness of God and man. So I made a commitment to myself the other day. It was as I was contemplating love. On the 10th of February, this is the commitment that I made. I made a decision. And so I shared it on social media. So if you're on my social media, you've already probably seen this, but I'm going to read it anyway. I have decided to fulfill my purpose. I have decided to live up to my yes. I have decided to honor my commitment to myself to be great. I have decided to be all that God intends me to be. I have decided that every moment matters. I have decided to enjoy every moment of my life. I have decided to love full out and without fear. I have decided to be extraordinary. I have decided to create my own financial freedom. I have decided to be dedicated, disciplined, and determined in all my affairs. I have decided to love myself. I have decided. So, in that decision that I made, I decided all of these things are all about love. Because when I am actively engaged in my own self-love, I am being all that I was created to be, including being patient with myself, being tolerant with myself, understanding that when I am not being spiritually correct, that I have to also take a moment to bless myself and give myself permission to be in my human experience without it being perfection. So I have to be gentle with myself. I have to be patient, and I have to be kind, and I have to take time to honor who I am and where I am in my growth. So that's what we do on an individual level. One of the things that is required if we want to really live in this thing called love is forgiveness. I told you it's a big topic. So there's forgiveness. Forgiveness of others and forgiveness of self. And not the surface forgiveness where you say, I'm over it, I forgive you. But the one where you let the person off the hook. Let them off the hook. Which means that you no longer hold them at the standard where they were at the time that they did the perceived transgression. When the harm was caused, that person was vibrating at a particular level. And as long as you hold them at that level, you have not forgiven them. You have not let them off the hook. And in order for you to live your own free, full life, you have to let them off the hook. You have to forgive yourself for having participated in the thing that caused the pain. You have to go in and do like the real serious forgiveness work. And then, once you have let them off the hook, it's not coming up anymore. You're not having this is how you know that you've actually forgiven somebody. You stop talking about it. It does not come up in periodic conversations, and you don't go with your friends and talk about what he did to me. And this is why I'll never be. You know you have not forgiven because you are still stuck in what they did. And it doesn't matter the level of the hurt. It doesn't matter the level of the pain that you felt. that's not a reason to hold on. What it is about loving yourself enough, because when you really letting them off the hook is letting you off the hook. Because the moment you no longer feel vibrationally annoyed by that person's name coming up, and you no longer have to say all the stuff that you've been saying about the same situation for the last 10 years, the moment that that doesn't happen anymore is the moment that you have stepped into what is called freedom. Now you can release your own magnificence, and now you can be engaged in your own love of self, your own way of being in the world. So part of the whole idea about loving is about being able to forgive others, forgive yourself so that you can be free. Forgiveness is one of the most loving things that you can do for yourself. You cannot keep holding your former spouse, former boss, former best friend accountable for the place that they were 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and the harm that they caused. It's over. And as long as you're wrapped up there with the former boss, the former friend, the former spouse, the former whoever, you aren't moving on. You're not even living fully because you're still stuck. And in order for you to live in a loving place where you are releasing your own magnificence, you've got to get unstuck. You gotta stop. And I was thinking about it, and I can't, I was like, how do you say this? It just came up while I was sitting here. You gotta undig your heels. You know how you dig your heels in? You gotta undig them. Get the mud from around your heels, or leave the daggone shoes, and go get some new ones. Because you gotta undig your heels from your past so that you can live lovingly and fully in your present. You gotta let go of what he did, she did, they did, and move to the present. A lot of us are still holding our parents accountable for what happened when we were 10. You're 42. Move on and start living that part of your life and bring that part of yourself into the present so that you can lovingly live in a great magnificence. Because Reverend Alex was talking about living in your own spiritual magnificence. You can't tap into your spiritual magnificence and your greatness and what you were born here to do until you release all the muck and mire that's holding you back. You just got to let it go and move forward and start loving you. Be gentle with yourself. It's okay if you remember it and it causes something, but don't attach to the feeling that comes up and then start to romance it and talk to everybody that'll listen about it. Nobody wants to be stuck back there with you. And those people who do are not being of good service to you. Those people that want to sit with you to entertain that stuff, they're not being of good service to you. They are actually being stuck in the past of your pain and helping you stay there. So you got to choose vibrationally what level of love you want to be in. Is it a love that's a surface thing, or is it a love that's about being patient and kind and nurturing and growing into more and more of what you came to be? Because I'll tell you, anyone here who wants to take a moment just to be honest with themselves, we all have desires for our lives. Some of us have gone through something in life that has caused us to think that will never happen for me, or I can never do that, or that some of us aren't even willing to even think about them in an active way. We just kind of let them ramble in the back as hopes and our wishes. I wish I could, I wish, and if I ever won the lottery, and I hope, and we wouldn't even dare to entertain those. But those things, the desire to be a great artist, to be a great singer, to figure out what it is that you're here to do, to live fully, to maybe build an island home, that desire has been put in your heart by your soul. It's there within your soul. It's who and what you are. And when you let go of the muck and mire, you can actually engage in loving and nurturing your heart's desire, your vision for your life, the thing that's calling you from deep within your soul, whether it's to be a great teacher, to be a great musician, to write great songs about Mother Earth, to sing and share your music and share your gift. Whatever that is, it is there deep within you, and you can't get to it because you're so busy wrapped up in things that are not about love. So I dare say that love is more than a feeling. That love is a commitment to grow, to be your own self, to honor truthfully who you are. to really be willing to be courageous and step beyond the fear of what always was and always has been, into creating a world that's way more than that. Into creating a world that not only works for you, it works for everyone. It works for all of us. Because when I give myself permission to be great, I give you permission to be great. Because if I'm focused on my greatness, I'm not in your business. I'm doing me, you can do you, and then we can support each other. And that's the goal. The goal is to create a life. That's what we're all working towards, that works for everyone. Some people are more caught up in fear than others. Some people are more caught up in anger. Some people are more caught up in energies and vibrations that does not support the big vision for our lives. But the truth is that all we all really want deep within is to be able to live fully, richly, and magnificently, and live the lives that we were born to live. No one wants to come in, get a job, pay bills, go to pasture, and die. Everybody's got plans of some kind of dream and goal. So let's do that. Let's live in that vision. Let's decide today. Let's decide today to live fully in our purpose, to live up to the yes that we said that brought us out on a 15-degree morning to service. Let's decide to do more than give lip service to what we believe, but to actually stand up and live what you believe. How about if you say you believe in a loving God, you act like there's one? How about if you say you believe in a universe that is abundant, you act like there's abundance and share some of what you have? How about if you believe in joy and love and peace and harmony, you get up and be joy and love and peace and harmony? How about if you say you believe in what you heard Michael Beckwith say, or what you heard Reverend Alex say, or what you read in Ernest Holmes, or what you read in the Holy Bible? How about if you start to act like that and start to step into your Christ consciousness and start acting as if you believe this world can work for all of us? How about if you step out and step away from fear and take a moment to take a risk? I'm inviting you to be a loving, patient, kind, non-judgmental presence in your community this week. Wherever you go, whether it's home with your loved one, whether it's the grocery store, whether it's at the stoplight with the guy knocking on your window for some money, wherever you are today and for the next 7 days, be that loving presence. Be the person that sees someone and sends them love and sends them blessing and sends them good intention and goodwill, and actively engage with people and say, hi, how are you? Get off your cell phone when you're talking, when you're in the cashier's line, and talk to her when she's ringing up your groceries instead of talking on the phone to whoever is so important that you can't stop and say hi and honor another human being. Step out today, this year, this day, and just give 7 days to it and see what it feels like at the end of every day as you show up as the presence of love and you participate in a world that works for all of us. I invite you to do that. Be willing. And then come back on Sunday and tell us what happened. Tell us how great and how fun it was to sort of watch someone like open up when they realize that you're just giving them some love. Come back and share with us next Sunday. Thank you.